The WTSS came to Watkins Glen for race number 8 of the championship. Qualifying got delayed due to lightning in the area. The storms cleared the next day, and it's a bright sunny day for racing. Qualifying and the race have been abridged into a one-day show. As such, the broadcasting window was not available for live broadcast of qualifying. Here is a summary of what happened to get you ready for 51 laps at Watkins Glen. A numerous number of drivers were quick out onto the racetrack within the first 2 minutes of the session. Almost the entire field had cleared out of the pits. It is crucial to get a lap time down on a road course as fast as this, and also going out early can give you an opportunity to pit for fresh tires later. An early pace setter in the first 5 minutes of qualifying was Alex Bignacco for Dytek Van Daalen, as they seem to have finally gotten the qualifying gremlins out of the way of this transition to Audi with the partnership with Van Daalen, as you see Kyle Bisceglia giving him a bit of a draft up ahead to help his lap time. But as soon as Bignacco took the top spot, it was quickly usurped by the pair of Eugene DeMax and Ray Takeda, who worked together practically through the first 10 minutes of the session to keep improving each other's lap times. Every time DeMax went quicker, Takeda followed suit. Hyundai bringing great pace to this weekend at Watkins Glen, 2 of their 3 cars showing up at the front of the timing sheets halfway through the session. One team hoping for a change of pace here at Watkins Glen after 2 unsponsored weeks begging people for help in terms of their sponsorship funds. The Bend Over Racing Squad and Mitchell Carter have come to Watkins Glen funded and ready to go with a couple of benefactors that have put themselves on the race car to show their support of the Bend Over Racing Squad. 4 different members of the racing community putting out their good, hard-earned money to help this team make it through the season until they can find another primary sponsor. The team has mentioned they are in negotiations with multiple companies to become sponsors of this 69 outfit going forward after the loss of Long John Silver's as a primary sponsor. Mitchell Carter has been dead last in the last 2 events on raw pace throughout the entire weekend as the team was sort of budget cutting as the weekend went on, trying to just minimize the spending, and as a result, it led to a minimizing in pace as well. They're hoping that this new injection of cash can bring them right back to where they left off in the first 5 races. Maverick Motorsports sent 3 of their cars out onto the racetrack at the same time to try and gauge where each one was at setup-wise. The reason for this being at Willow Springs, the inconsistency of their car setups cost them what could have been a quadruple top 15 result, but ultimately only ended up in a single top 10, with race winner William Duncan being the sole representative for the team. This new transition to Subaru has been quite the rough one. While they have showed speed, the results just aren't there yet. Just past halfway in qualifying, multiple teams decided to gamble on their sessions and sacrifice long-run data to try and put a set of fresh tires on to keep improving their lap times further. Those including a bunch of rookies like Elijah Innes, Allison Figueroa, Arnie Nugroho, and Daniel Giroux, drivers who are really keen to get higher starting positions to work from there and see where they can move from. One driver we've gotten accustomed to seeing at the top of the timing sheets and results pages on these road course events throughout the history of WTSS has been Aiden Shepard and Trailblazer Motorsports. Plenty of their race victories have come on road courses in the entire history of the series, but today they just could not find the speed at all and felt like a fish out of water the whole session. Shepard ending up dead last, nearly a half a second behind the rest of the field. Trailblazer has a lot of work cut out for them coming into this race day to see if they can adjust the car at all to further improve on a disaster of a qualifying session. And in the dying seconds of qualifying, rookie Allison Figueroa for Reed Family Racing split the top 3 up by putting it in 3rd place right in the dying seconds of qualifying with a fresh set of tires, her strategy paying off, and she'll get a great front row seat to the action starting in the 3rd position. But crucially, nobody, not even Eugene DeMax, was able to crack underneath the 1:10 mark and get a 1:09, and thus nobody was able to stop Eugene DeMax's 1:10.0, and the number 4 Season 3 champion starts on the pole for today's 51-lap endeavor at Watkins Glen. The top 5 in qualifying was Eugene DeMax, Alex Bignacco, Allison Figueroa, Ray Takeda, and Sean Angel rounding out the top 5. The rest of the top 10 was James Gibson, Logan Hill, Jeff McLennan, Patrick Smith, and Arnie Nugroho. And after 15 minutes, it was Eugene DeMax who put it on the top in qualifying at Watkins Glen. Who will be the one on top after 51 laps here at Watkins Glen in the Finger Lakes region of New York? We'll have to find out soon as we take you to the race. Welcome to Watkins Glen International for the 8th race of WTSS Season 7. We're here with Eugene DeMax, your Season 3 champion, on the pole. Championship leader Shrimp Engrits in the back half of the field, as well as his other rivals, Sebastian Van Daalen and Chris Dodd. All of them vying for a championship position that they want to take, but they all are going to have to work for it as they start from the back. Last week at Willow Springs, we saw William Duncan score his 9th career victory of his WTSS career. It was his first of the season and his first top 10 of the season on a campaign that has seen many mechanical failures and setup problems with the teething issues on that Subaru program. But now, we have championship leader Eugene DeMax on the front row with Alex Benyako. DeMax has not seen success in the WTSS in quite some time. He'll be absolutely vying to be leading at the exit of the first corner here. Alex Benyako finally seems to have gotten that Ditech Van Daalen program under control and has now started to qualify up towards the front, especially on these road courses. We'll see if he can take the battle to DeMax here. We see Allison Figueroa, who put a time up just at the end of qualifying to put it up into the 3rd position and give herself a chance at being the top rookie today and possibly fighting for her first career victory. Ray Takeda and Sean Angel round out the top 5. Logan Hill, crucially finding a time as well, someone who has especially needed it in the last few races. James Gibson, who has absolutely looked hopeless on the road courses with the program underneath of him. This is a crucial qualifying for them because if they can start up higher, they can work the strategy around it. But enough of that chit-chat. It's going to be 51 laps to figure out who the winner at Watkins Glen is going to be. Let's get to the race. Pace car pulls in. Eugene DeMax alongside Alex Benyako. 51 laps around this 2.45-mile road course in the Finger Lakes of New York. We're green. And the Hyundai of Eugene DeMax puts the power down, but spins the tires as Alex Benyako tries to lead them into the first corner around the outside. Into turn number 1 we go. Try and not run too much on the curb because the traction is worse out there on the exit. But Benyako seems to have got the power down again. One much better than Eugene DeMax, but DeMax takes the preferred line up into the S's to lead here on lap number 1 at Watkins Glen. Benyako clears for 2nd place, and Ray Takeda is attempting to take 3rd from rookie Allison Figueroa. Up to the bus stop we go for the first time. Everybody seems to have made it cleanly down through the first half of the lap. We see multiple side-by-side battles going on. There's Chris Dodd, one of your championship lead hopefuls, trying to go around the outside of Brandon Cresta and does do so on the 63. Ray Takeda clearing for the 3rd position. Hyundai looking really strong this weekend. The only exception being Hu Jian back at about the midpoint of the field there alongside Bobby Frazier in the background. But it is Eugene DeMax leading us through the final couple corners on the opening lap at Watkins Glen, and now he can begin to settle in to try and control this race. 3 wide on the exit of the final corner there. William Duncan, Brandon Crasta, and Chris Dodd. Duncan trying to make ground up quick. He went up 9 positions in the first 3 laps at the Willow Springs race to put himself up into the top 5 and put himself in position to go chase after the race win last week. He's already
doesn't look as lucky this time.
He's gone up 2 positions on the opening lap here at Watkins Glen. It's not as crazy of a gain through the field, but he is already on the move. We know how strong the race pace on those Mavericks can be, especially as we see his teammate, Jeff McLennan, on the attack, still trying to finish the overtake on Fabio Vitabassa for the 10th position, and does so. Aiden Shepard had a really tumultuous time in qualifying. Could not find any improvement through the whole session. Was a half a second slower than the rest of the field by the end of qualifying. He's already cleared Mitchell Carter. He's now trying to clear Alex Constantine in the 64. And now we have a battle for 2nd. Ray Takeda down the inside of Alex Benyako, trying to clear, make it a Hyundai 1-2, round the outside of the final corner. That was a brave attempt. They're still side by side on the run to start finish. Down into the braking zone. She outbrakes the 29. Gets the run into the corner, but now she's got to get the traction down on that curb. which doesn't have a great contact patch compared to the asphalt, but she's proving that if you can nail it, it's the preferred line. But she overshoots her entry into the S's, nearly puts herself back vulnerable to Bignacco, but clears to go chase after Eugene DeMax for the race lead. And I said Jeff McLennan was in the middle of trying to overtake Fabio Vitabassa. I may have been wrong, because he's lost out to Vitabassa and has fallen way behind, and is now under pressure from DJ Curtis and Jake Stevens in the 18. There's Shrimp Engrits losing positions. Your championship leader in trouble. Has dropped down to the 30th position now already. They had a bit of trouble at Willow Springs as well. Could not find the speed. Stayed outside of the top 20 the entire day as I saw a battle up front. Allison Figueroa, the rookie, on Alex Bignacco and will clear for the 4th position. For the 3rd position, that is crucial. That 29 car looked like it had great speed on the launch, but he cannot find anything so far in these opening couple laps. There's a move. DJ Curtis down the inside of rookie Jeff McLennan for the 11th position. Curtis looking stronger this weekend than we've seen him in recent weeks in WTSS. Trying to improve his points position up after being dead last just a couple weeks ago in the championship standings. And there is second in the points. Sebastian Van Daalen came into this race only 12 or 13 points behind championship leader Shrimp Engrits. And crucially, in this position, would take the championship lead as a rookie in only his 8th career start. That would be huge for him. There's a reason why his team boss has been calling him a wonder kid this year. Daniel Voiles struggling hard. His debut with the Santander livery on that 13 car. The two Culo Alfa Romeo cars looking almost identical out there. It is DeMax out front, but Ray Takeda looks quick and is looking like she's going to make some inroads on that number 4 car. 4/10 quicker, fastest lap of the race, and that lap would have been good enough to win pole in qualifying. That was 200ths quicker than Eugene DeMax's pole lap. She is on rails at the moment in these early laps.
Yeah, Hyundais are just doing really well right now.
We saw it with Hu Ji-yeon last week at Willow Springs. She was battling for the lead for most of the day until they missed the setup during the first pit cycle of the race, and she completely fell down the order. But obviously, it looks like they have great unload speed on these road courses at least. She also contended for the lead for the top 5 at one point in the season opener at Canadian Tire. So they've got a great road course program underneath of them, and we know that for a fact because of Eugene DeMax's 100% win rate on road courses in his WTSS career. And she is gaining quick. She's already within the same corner as Eugene DeMax. And soon enough, we'll be saying she's battling for the lead here briefly. Off the final corner we go. Alex Bignacco looks under major pressure in the background as Takeda cuts it down to half a second now. Another 4/10 chopped off the lead of Eugene DeMax.
What's everyone up to?
Lap number 6 at Watkins Glen. Tristan Wilhoit down the inside on Jake Stavinoff for the 19th position.
So how does my mic sound?
Fine. On to the run to the bus stop chicane. Arnie Nugroho down the inside on Patrick Smith for the 8th position. This would be a crucial overtake for the rookie. He's absolutely shown the speed on the road courses, but basically nowhere else. Cannot find a way past for now. Patrick Smith hangs on. Ray Takeda is now within striking distance of race leader Eugene DeMax. It's about to be a Hyundai v Hyundai battle for the lead.
That car is flying.
She's absolutely flying. That lap that she just turned...
Even.
On the most recent lap, Takeda turned a lap that still would have been good enough to qualify 4th. She matched her qualifying time last time by on 6-lap-old tires. And again, another 2/10 chopped off the lead. She's on the bumper of race leader Eugene DeMax to try and go for this top spot. Tire wear is not going to be as big of a factor here as other road courses on the calendar. There's a lot of straightaways to cool the tires off in between the corners. Once you get onto this, up through the S's and onto the back straight, and that second to last straightaway before the final 2 corners, That is a lot of time for wind to be blowing into these tires and cooling them down. And there's just not many corners here in general. The carousel is probably the hardest corner on these tires. It's just a constant right-hand turn, as we're seeing through here. Oh.
I mean, a lot of turns here are rather flowing.
Yes, they are. The S's, while they look pretty simple, you have to maintain some car control through the S's because it is still not flat out in a stock car. As we see through the final corner, Ray Takeda eyeing up a move on Eugene DeMax for the race lead. She went for it, but didn't have the run on the exit of the corner. Into turn one, is she going to make a move? Not close enough. She decides to be patient with it. She knows there's another 44 laps left in this race.
Yeah, people have been very, very calm in that corner. You could make a dive bomb on that pretty easily, but not yet.
Both Takeda and DeMax have not been finding the success that they would have wanted in the WTSS in recent seasons.
Maybe they're trying to work together a bit to get ahead of Figueroa a bit, who's also, I think, is coming into this.
You almost wouldn't believe it, but Eugene DeMax, being a series champion, has the least amount of career victories of any series champion in WTSS. He has 2 wins to his name, ever. He won 1 race at Sebring during his championship season as a rookie back in Season 3, and last season, 10 races in, scored the victory as well. His only 2 wins in the series. This could be number 3 here. Ray Takeda is another driver who has been searching and searching and searching for a checkered flag in her career. And in recent memory, at least, she has not been anywhere close to one. This has been probably her strongest start to the season in a while. She hasn't won a race since Season 5. She has 3 career wins to her name. And since they've rebranded to Crescent Enterprises, it has been a struggle to find the speed. There's a battle back here. James Gibson attacking Sean Angel for the 5th position. Contact almost between Logan Hill and James Gibson. They're through the S's. That is a very dangerous spot to make contact with somebody's right rear quarter panel because it is a hard opening into that wall right there if you were to get turned there. And it just looks like they have it just looks like a bad egg, that 42 this weekend. They just could not find the setup in qualifying, and it looks like for the race they've not been able to it either. He is 38th quickest. Aiden Shepard, this is an uncharacteristically bad road race weekend for him. Nugroho on Patrick Smith once again, trying to get the 8th position. This is his 3rd time attempting this pass now. Takeda still biding her time right now. Actually might have cooked her tires a bit. The 4 cars gapped back out by another 10th. Nugroho round the outside of the 77 of Patrick Smith. Into turn 1. Can he outbrake the 2-season veteran? Exit of the first corner. He's got the run off. He tries to clear up into the S's, but he can't quite close down in front of the 77. Side by side up the hill, and at long last, Arnie Nugroho can say that an 8th place is his to keep, ahead of Patrick Smith. Meanwhile, the 2 Hyundais continuing to gap out, but they are going to be joined by rookie Allison Figueroa if they continue to just run nose to tail. I think Takeda's quicker, but her patience behind Eugene DeMax is going to bite her if she doesn't take it quick enough, because Figueroa was 2/10 quicker than both of them last time by.
3/10 faster than Takeda there.
Yeah, Takeda backed off a bit. I think either dirty air or she was just trying to cool her tires off behind the 4 car there. But it looks like she's getting aggressive again with Eugene DeMax on the exit of the final corner. DeMax finds the speed off like he did last time she tried. They're bumper to bumper down to turn number 1. And once again, she just seems to be content with riding behind him for now, not making an aggressive dive bomb down the inside. It looks like Figueroa must have missed a corner on her last lap. She lost 8/10 that time around. And is now over a 1.5 behind the lead battle. As Alex Bignacco!
Oh no!
What's the problem? Down a cylinder on the 29. It's not an engine failure, but he says that he's down on power. And there goes the 77 of Patrick Smith, another one of the cars in that alliance. They're absolutely trying to squeeze past the 29 right now as he heads down the back straightaway. He's going to try and find a way down to the inside of the corner here to go around the outside of the bus stop chicane. but that car is misfiring now, and it is an unfortunate end to a promising start to Alex Bignacco's day. Now the question is, can the rest of the field safely navigate around him? It looks like they're going to. He's going to put himself on the inside of the carousel here and just, oh man, really difficult to stay on that inside lane on that curb. But he does stay out of the way of everybody else. And what an unfortunate end to his day. Oh, I'm not sure what he's doing.
No.
And Daniel Voiles goes into the back of Alex Bignacco and collects Alex Constantine in the 64. Mitchell Carter and Aiden Shepard trying to find a way past the 29 as well. And I just think that was a miscommunication. He was just trying to get out of the way, but he didn't know where to go. He was trying to get down to the correct line to get to the pit lane. And Alex Constantine pays the price for it, as does Daniel Voiles. Unfortunate end to Voiles' day probably there, and maybe now at Bignacco. I was going to say Bignacco might continue on, but that damage combined with the engine issues, they might just call it at this point now. And we'll have to see if the radiator's busted on the 13 of Voiles. That was significant contact. He was going about 60 miles an hour off the pace down that straightaway. Well, they're committing with the 13 of Voiles, so they're not giving up at the Kula Alfa Romeo team, but their entire day is hampered now. There's no safety cars in WTSS, so whatever time he's got to make up to the other cars ahead of him, it's got to be under green. And he's going to be hampered on his whole straightaway speed profile as Ray Takeda now has finally seen that Allison Figueroa has picked her pace back up, cuts underneath the number 4 on the exit of turn number 1, side by side up to the S's. Ray Takeda leads here at Watkins Glen for the first time today, taking it from Eugene DeMax, and now we'll see what kind of speed she can have in clean air. And there's Alex Bignacco rejoining the race. Obviously, they must think, well, if there's DNFs, we'll gain points. You know, that's really the whole name of the game right there. He is not going to be in contention to make another overtake for the rest of this race. He's going to be overtaken by everybody who catches him. Nearly 20 miles an hour off the pace right now down the straightaways. And the drivers are going to be screaming over the radio, why aren't there blue flags in this Forsaken series? But you know, it's stock car racing. Sometimes you just got to deal with it. Round through the bus stop here. Teskar is going to be the one who has to deal with it here. His run of battling for the victory on the road courses has come to a grinding halt as he falls out of the top half of this field. But crucially, Hu Jian jumps up into the top half of this field, so her car is starting to light up as the run continues on. Allison Figueroa is flying and is going to catch Eugene DeMax in a lap or two if she doesn't make any more mistakes. Jake Stevens.
Stevens going for
big move on Fabio Vita
Vita
Bassa.
Bassa.
I'm not sure if Vita Bassa is going to be able to fight this one. He tries. He digs deep through the second half of the S's. Side by side still. Who prevails? Who's bravest on the brakes? Down to the bus stop chicane. Straight line speed advantage to Jake Stevens there. But I would presume downforce advantage on Vita Bassa. Through the S's, through the bus stop chicane. Vita Bassa holds strong. And keeps the position. Wow.
Okay.
Great defense from Vita Bassa. Look, it's Sebastian Van Daalen. Up into the top 10, but that's not what we're focusing on right now because Nugroho is making a move for 6th now on James Gibson. The proclaimed Wunderkind. Wunderkid in German. At Rocket Atkinson Racing. Hopeful to take the championship lead as a rookie. 8 races into his entire WTSS career. And it's looking like if he just finishes where he's at right now, it's going to be an easy points lead for him to take away. Chris Dodd is only in 24th place, and Shrimp Engrits is actually falling further down the order, and now he's stuck behind Alex Bignacco, so it's just going to compound here for him as they come up through the S's. Ah, there we go. That's what Takeda would have been hoping to see. 2/10 quicker than any other car around her. She got into the clean air, and she's able to execute at the moment being. DJ Curtis now attacking Patrick Smith, who appears to be holding a bunch of cars up. Vita Bassa has escaped the 18 of Jake Stevens and is now attacking his teammate Sebastian Van Daalen on the run down to the second to last corner.
Where's he going?
Inside on Patrick Smith.
He's going to be stuck on the outside for the next 3 corners.
He will. He holds tight for now. Smith's car does not look like it's handling well. Oh, don't you dare. What a move! Down the inside for Sebastian Van Daalen, latest on the brakes. He pulls off Patrick Smith. He's trying to pull alongside DJ Curtis. He almost does a double overtake. And his teammate follows through, Jake Stevens. And we've seen this scene before the previous two laps ago. But I think Stevens is going to clear this time before they get to the bus stop. He will. Chris Louviere is going to try and follow through. And pulls it off. Wow. Vita Bassa hemorrhaging positions now. Takada not really running away from Demax like she would have hoped for. I don't think there was a large pace differential between the two of them, but she is really not pulling away, I think, like she would have thought. I think she just ran a slower lap than Demax that time by. Yes, she did, and both of them ran a slower lap than Figueroa. The top 3 are converging on one another here, as Patrick Smith finds himself under major pressure from Jake Stevens on the run to turn 1. Oh, Louviere! Down the inside, 3 wide into turn 1!
Now turn 1's popping off.
Huge move. Stevens clears around the outside on Patrick Smith, but finds himself vulnerable to Chris Louviere. First season rookie versus second season veteran. Chris Louviere trying to clear, but the straight line speed advantage on those Seats right now, pulling him back alongside the 83 down into the bus stop chicane. But man, what speed that Subaru's got. Chris Louviere clears for 10th place and goes up 2 spots in 1 move.
I don't want to speak too soon, but the Mavericks have been doing pretty well today. The mechanical gremlins have not shown up.
So far, you'd hope to see them continue on. Jeff McLennan has climbed up into the top 20. That's right. He's the one that's fallen down the order. It's Tristan Wilhoit who's climbed up into the top 20 in this run. It's just like Willow Springs. There's 2 Maverick cars that have nailed the setup, and there's 2 that have absolutely floundered on it. William Duncan, last week's winner, one of those cars that cannot find the speed. Neither can Jeff McLennan. But Tristan Wilhoit and Chris Louviere are absolutely flying up the order. Pass after pass after pass. Maybe the expansion to 4 cars has been a bit ambitious from the Maverick team, who had never had a team larger than 2, except for last season, with an exception with 3 cars last year. And with a new manufacturer switchover, maybe they're still having trouble finding consistent setups on those cars to make all 4 of them fast. But at the moment, things are looking promising for both Wilhoit and especially for Chris Louviere, who's up into the top 10 now, chasing the Sebastian Van Daalen and DJ Curtis rides up ahead. Demax is keeping close quarters with Ray Takada here. And Daniel Voiles, while he has massive front-end damage, has about 15 lap fresher tires. They're not going to catch him as quick as they would normally because he is flying on these traction zones right now on the exits of the corners. It's the straight line speed where they're going to catch him. Patrick Smith losing a position to Fabio Vitabassa for 12th place. Smith's car really struggling on this long run. He's going to be hoping for an adjustment during that pit cycle. And Jake Stavina for 17th on Jeff McLennan. We're on the outside through the second portion of the S's. It's going to be door-to-door on the run down to the bus stop chicane. We've seen plenty of these moves. There's his teammate, Ryan Reed, making the same move on Patrick Smith. Down to the braking zone. 2 different Roush Racing Enterprise, just 3 different Roush Racing Enterprise cars side by side through the bus stop at the same time. And 2 of the 3 pull off the move successfully, with Stavina being the one who doesn't. Reed still having to deal with Patrick Smith, though. Smith's car has struggled on straight line department today. He's about 3 miles an hour slower down this straight than Ryan Reed. And that's going to put him vulnerable on the acceleration on the exit to lose 13th place to Ryan Reed.
Maybe 14th to
Reed's
Tamura.
teammate. Tamura, they're trying to get the run off the corner, but she got loose on the exit and might be vulnerable to Chonarong Wongzawat now, who is looking stronger than we've seen all season this year. Team boss Marcus Atkinson said these 2 road course races were a bit of a mental reset for that 08 crew, who have really struggled on new track types this year and have really fallen behind their other 2 teammates, and it looks like it's seeming to work. He is starting to pull it back up towards his teammates. As Allison Figueroa, maybe it's rookie inexperience, I don't know, but her tires have completely fallen off a cliff, and it looks like that she is now starting to struggle compared to the Takeda and Demax machines up ahead.
I don't know. Looking at the intervals, it looks like she's remaining pretty stationary.
It's been a bad lap. She was 1.5 seconds back at the start of the lap. It's now almost 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's
Maybe it's just starting to happen. Louviere under pressure from Jake Stevens. Louviere caught Sebastian Van Daalen, has not found a way through, and Van Dalen's teammate Stevens puts the bumper to the back of the 83 through turn 1. Up through the S's. Trying to park it on the outside of the second portion of the S's.
But he's not going away that easily.
No, but those Seats have had so much straight line speed today. I wouldn't be shocked if he clears before the corner.
Yes, he will.
Unbelievable. Wow. Straight line speed department on that Rocket Atkinson team. For a team that's brand new and only their 8th race as a team, that is impressive. It also could be a setup preference. It also could have been Stevens wanting less downforce on that thing.
And that was maybe the right way to go.
As the rest of the field has finally cleared Alex Benyako in the 29. Now Figueroa's equal to her lap time out that time. I think it's more of a consistency problem than a fall off problem. She's matching lap times one lap and then falling 4/10 behind the next. Things have calmed down a bit through the mid portion of this race. We had some great battles 4 or 5 laps ago, but now they've seemed to have hit a lull at the moment being. Takeda leads Demax and Figueroa. Then it's Angel and Hill by themselves in 4th and 5th. Gibson still in a strong 6th position with Nugroho right behind him. Curtis trying to keep Sebastian Van Daalen back. It looks like he's pulling that 81 along with his straight line speed, but he's struggling through the corners. Yuki Tamura down the inside into the bus stop chicane. Tries to swing it around the outside on the exit on Patrick Smith, who is really struggling on this long run. Stays alongside through the carousel. Can she keep the speed on the exit, though? That 77 has struggled for straight line speed all day, but he hangs on around the outside of the carousel and might allow Wongzawat down the inside of Tamura, down into the second to last corner. Side by side through the final turn, Wongzawat with a great run on the exit. Can't clear yet. But will
Tamura got an even better run.
Yeah, will that straight line speed pull him ahead, though, before the corner? He tries. He can't clear. Stavinoff still trying to get through on Jeff McLennan in the 87. Multiple battles going on right here. And crucially, now that Sebastian Van Daalen has been caught by his own teammate now for that 9th position, he's going to be getting impatient with DJ Curtis. Side by side up through the S's. Wongzawat trying to pull clear the 60. The 60 looks strong on the straight line, though. Wilhoit down the inside on Stavinaw. Multiple battles going on up into the bus stop. Wongzawat clears, crucially, past Yuki Tamura, up into the top 15 now. And for the first time this season, that 08 car looks like it has a fighting chance with the rest of the field. The top 3 are stabilized. All 3 of them are running very similar lap times out there right now. And I can't believe I'm saying this, But Eugene DeMax is reporting a possible fuel leak. He says the fuel pressure has been dropping on the 4.
Oh, that is a tough break.
Big. And it's not just as simple as patching that up. These fuel cells are not something that you can just go in there and completely just throw a new one on. You've got to take the whole rear end housing apart. If that is a leak that is not fixable on the pit lane, that's going to be a repair that's going to take way too long and will probably force the 4 car to retire from this race. Unbelievable. And just like that, you can see how quickly it can happen. DeMax is into the pits.
Yep. He had no other choice.
No other choice. And that's going to throw him out of his pit window, even if they can fix it. Oh, man. You just hate to see it for the 4 team. If they can fix it, though, it'll take a while. That's so unfortunate. I don't know what else to say. That's just genuinely unfortunate for the 4. That's gut-wrenching. Your pole sitter led a ton of laps at the start, lost the lead, and isn't going to even have a fighting chance to respond back in the pit cycle. Wongzawat takes 14th away and now will be 13th with DeMax in the pits from Patrick Smith. That 08 car looking really quick.
Looks like they're going to try.
They are going to try. They're still out there trying to fix the car on the number 4. But it does look bleak for the outcome of that number 4 car. I don't know if they're going to get any more chance to get back out on the racetrack. Sometimes replacing a whole fuel system can basically be an overnight endeavor because you just got to take the entire rear end housing apart. That is effectively a retirement from the race from Eugene DeMax. If they get back out there in time, it's going to be just data collection at this point, figuring out what the setup was going to be doing for the rest of the race. Try to learn from it. But that's got to be just heartbreaking for that whole crew. Jake Stevens down the inside on his teammate, Sebastian Van Daalen. They're both trying to be the superior Rocket Atkinson car this weekend, but if they're not careful, teammate Chandrang Wongzawat has found his way through the pack of cars and has now found clean air to go chase after this group. Now Ray Takeda really has got a chance to open this lead up. We've seen Figueroa have way less consistency than the 50 throughout this entire run in terms of her lap time and speed. And now this is her opportunity to cement herself as the experienced of the 2 drivers. Stevens clears. He gets through on Van Daalen while we weren't looking. Up into the 8th position. Nugroho on Gibson to enter the top 5. The issues from Eugene DeMax have now promoted these 2 to a battle for 5th. Round the outside of the final corner. Great exit from Gibson, though, on that inside lane. You wouldn't have thought it, but it looks like Nugroho had trouble on the traction off, and Gibson hangs on for now. Tamura gets through on Patrick Smith now. Jeff McLennan trying to find a way through as well as Huji Yan to the bumper of Tristan Wilhoit. Can't quite find a way through. Those 2 have history in WTSS, and I don't think Wilhoit's going to make it easy for the 49 to get through at all. McLennan back through on Jake Stavanaugh. Maybe that 87 car starting to come alive in the second half of this race. We will start to see pit stops approaching. Maybe not this lap, maybe not the next, but in the next few laps, we will see the pit cycle begin. Hujian back down the inside on Tristan Wilhoit for that 18th position. Round the outside of the bus stop chicane. Can't find the way through on the exit. Wilhoit hangs on with a stout defense on the exit of the chicane. Yeah, there's really, now for real, it looks like Figueroa has fallen off a cliff. She's now losing about 4/10 a lap to the race leader, Ray Takeda, and now it will take a serious screw-up in the pits for that 50 car to be put vulnerable. Inside into turn 1 for 7th place. Big move from Jake Stevens, the rookie. I think that's why Nugroho was getting so anxious behind James Gibson. He sees those Rocket Atkinson cars approaching fast, especially Jake Stevens in the 18. That 18 car is so fast on the straight line speed. Look at him charge down the straightaway. He might clear before the chicane again, and he will. Man, that car's fast in a straight line. And the flip side of that, Patrick Smith is slow in a straight line compared to the rest of the cars around him, and it is really hurting him throughout the lap. His car is probably mediocre at best in handling on the corners, and it does not get helped by the lack of straight line speed. They have just missed the ball on that setup, and they will be hoping when the pit cycle comes that they can make adjustments. McLennan attacking again.
He's going to be for 15th.
This will be for a top 15, crucially here. Very important McLennan makes this work fast, because it looks like his car is actually starting to get better as the run goes on in comparison to those around him. So if he can get past the 77 within the next lap or so, he should be able to go chase after Tamura and try and follow Wongzawat up the order, as Chris Louviere attacking the 81 of Sebastian Van Daalen, who now appears to be falling off towards the end of this first run, and loses the spot before they even exit the S's. Wongzawat is fast, catching these guys almost 7/10 a lap, this whole group. Wongzawat's the second fastest car on the racetrack behind race leader Ray Takeda. Takeda is the fastest car on the track. Wow! What a move from Jeff McLennan around the outside of the bus stop chicane, which switched to the inside lane, which switched back to the outside lane, and he pulls it off on the preferred line on the exit. Hu Jian once again on Tristan Wilhoit. Jake Stavina trying on Patrick Smith again. These are battles that have raged on for what feels like ages. Through that final corner, though, that's the crucial traction zone on the exit. It looks like neither driver on the inside lane was able to get the good run off. Smith and Wilhoit both being defensive into the first corner on the inside lane. Into the S as we go. Smith tries to clear from Stavina. Can't do it. Can't find a way clear fully. But it looks like Wilhoit will clear Hu Jian and put her vulnerable to Cale Teskar. Down into the bus stop chicane. Whoa! Hu Jian threads the needle between Teskar and Wilhoit and dive bombs into the bus stop chicane. Man, there is purpose behind these moves. There is history behind those moves. Jian is not a very aggressive driver normally in the WTSS, but she's pulling all the stops out right now to try to get past that 17. Wilhoit now defensively actually approaching Jake Stavina to try and go on the offense to keep Hu Jian back, but overshoots the final corner. Finds the traction off on the exit, though, to keep the position. Meanwhile, Jake Stevens has cleared Arnie Nugroho now for the 6th position, and Nugroho is under pressure from DJ Curtis. And we have our first taker for the green flag pit cycle. It's Ryan Reed in the 90. Your race winner at Richmond, coming in for 4 tires and to undercut the entire field with just 21 laps to go. Will we start to see more come in? The longer you stay out, the worse it's going to be. The tire fall off has now finally hit the point where it's actually falling off, and we're about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds slower than what we were running at the start of the race. So if you undercut by a lot, you're going to make great gains, but it's going to come back to bite you later on. Look at this battle! Stavina and Smith still going at it. Roles reversed on what side of the racetrack they're on. And if you're Wilhoit or Patrick Smith and wanted to pit right now, it's not an option. Still side by side. Smith struggling to keep the 80 back for much longer. Hu Jian trying to clear Wilhoit into turn number 1 to follow Stavina through. Jian gets the position for 17th at long last on Wilhoit. Stavina gets the position on Smith at long last for 15th place. And that's going to put Smith immediately vulnerable to Gian. And Jake Stevens! You'd almost think the camera operators didn't want to see him, but he takes another position when we weren't looking on James Gibson. Up into the top 5 now for the rookie. Those Rocket Atkinson Seats are wicked fast right now. Sean Angel, the first one of the leaders. Might as well try something. 13 seconds back from the lead battle. I don't see anybody else coming in so far.
Yeah.
No other takers. Oh, there's Will Hoyt, though. Ooh, that's very tight quarters there. Through that final corner. It's a very sketchy spot on the racetrack to try and come into the pits with a group of cars around you. Ryan Reed has caught the Alex Bignacco machine. Sean Angel and Tristan Wilhoit all trying to service their cars as quick as possible. It's their crews. Takada's extended to almost a 5-second lead over Allison Figueroa and is in lap 33 with 18 to go this time by. Logan Hill is in. Figueroa is also in. It feels like most of the field's in this time. Yep, Nugroho stays out, but it looks like the people who are staying out is the minority right now. Fujian also swinging around the outside to go an extra lap. A one-lap overcut is actually not a bad strategy because you are going to be on cold tires coming out of the pits here for an entire lap on your out lap. So if you can do a one-lap overcut, get a good in-lap while everybody else is pitting, it is a viable strategy. We've seen it work. We saw it work at Canadian Tire. So it's not entirely wrong to try and go another lap on these tires. Takada already out of the pits. Technically, the race leader at the moment is Arnie Nugroho, and he will likely pick up some bonus points on his way into the pits. But your actual race leader right now, Ray Takada. This is a double points race, so this is a crucial one to win and crucial one to lead laps in. Wow! Wilhoit clearing Jake Stavanaugh out of the pits. That undercut for the 17 looks to have worked a dream. Sean Angel trying to get past Logan Hill on Hill's outlap. As we see the entire rest of the field all coming into the pits here. Nobody goes another lap. Nobody dares go another lap here. And Ray Takada re-inherits the lead on lap 35 of 51. 5 seconds ahead of Allison Figueroa. That's going to be a hard one to overcome. And Ryan Reed's extreme undercut has paid off. He's actually found himself up into the top 10, almost up in the top 5 as a result of that. But he's going to be the one paying the price at the end of the race with worse tire wear. You know, Ray Takada almost is going to have to encounter some lap traffic before the end of this race is over. That'll be something interesting to look at. Looks like they made some mistakes on the one of Elijah Innes. They did not report any damage repairs going on that one car, but it was a 46-second pit stop. So there maybe was a pit crew mistake on that pit stop. It cost him a ton of time. He's going to come out just in front of race leader Ray Takada here. And Jake Stevens, just after inheriting the top 5, is now going to have to go chase after Ryan Reed, who appears to be the fastest car on the racetrack by quite some margin. But that also could just be that his tires are fully up to temp and into the working window here. The earliest of the entire field. And we see our last pitter of the cycle being Daniel Voiles into the pits with his damage. Off cycle from the rest of them. It's lap 36 of 51, about to be lap 37. It's going to be 15 laps to go for Ray Takada, chasing her 4th career victory and her first since Season 5. It would be Crescent Enterprises' first ever victory as a team, after they bought out the Axiom Racing Union. After the controversy following the Season 5 finale. It's basically the same team, but it's not at the same time. Oh no! Rookie Sebastian Van Daalen blows a tire from 10th place! And James Gibson has nowhere to go. Longsawat finds a way through.
Oh, that's...
Oh, and Gibson's going to get into him in the middle of the S's and crashes big with Tristan Lilhoit.
No.
And that's going to block the track up in the S's.
Oh,
my God! Huge crash for James
someone call
Kavanaugh.
911.
Upside down on
shit.
3 or 4 cars, and the track is blocked through the S's.
Oh, my.
Where do you go? You just gotta come to a stop at this point. Everybody's slamming on the brakes. They all know they can't get through. Dan Drew and Aiden Shepard, Alex Constantine, they're all gonna catch it late. A massive accident. Our biggest wreck we've seen since the season opener at Canadian Tire. Unbelievable crash.
That looked,
That's a lot of good cars. Just
That's a huge amount of contenders.
Unfucking believable, man.
Takada catches the lap traffic. And he's gonna be catching damaged traffic as well. Brandon Crasta in the 63. Already last in points coming into this race. And it just continues to get worse for the Season 1 champ.
Our title hopes are looking pretty dead at this point. I just don't know how it keeps happening.
Wrong place, wrong time for Will Hoyt there.
Unbelievable, man.
Takada is still losing time to Allison Figueroa. She's not pulling away like she was in that first run. It's either the 98's made better adjustments in the 50, or that's just a better short run car. I'm not sure. But with that traffic involved, that's going to be a huge gain. Down to 3.2 seconds with 13 to go. I would not say this race is over in the slightest. Plenty of damaged race cars out there now as a result of that. Right at the end of the race.
Man, Will Hoyt was already out of the top 10 in points. That was like literally the last thing we needed.
That result could have gotten him back in the top 10 actually before that happened. All right, now it's crucial. This is the moment for Allison Figueroa's entire race right here. How quickly she can clear the 29 of Alex Bignacco. That's going to be the moment that decides if she can catch Ray Takada in the 50. Swings to the right. Bignacco clears that line up. She goes to the left-hand side of the 29. Makes it quick and easy. Clears before the final corner. Basically didn't even get held up. That is crucial. If she's got any more speed to gain on Takada through the rest of this race, it's do it now. You've got no other time to do it. She loses 2/10 in that transition to get past the 29. She's got 12 laps to cut 3.4 seconds. And Takada's got traffic approaching. We'll see. Ray Takada is still in control. But Allison Figueroa has got a huge chance to make something happen, though. This has promoted some drivers up into the top 10 and up into the top 15 and 20, including Chanarong Wangzuat, looking for a first career top 10 in the WTSS, trying to hang on ahead of Yuki Tamura. benefactor from his own teammates' tire issue. Let's put McLennan back up into the top 15, battling for 12th with Fabio Vitabassa. Hu Jian has climbed up into the top 15 as a result now. James Gibson recovered from that incident and still manages to hang on into 15th at the moment. Roberto Crown Jr. up in 16th. We haven't talked about him all day. And crucially, Chris Dodd and Shrimp Engrits are up into the top 20. And no longer will the rookie Sebastian Van Daalen take the championship lead. That is not going to be something that is happening this weekend. Engrits will keep his point lead into the next race. Side by side, ahead of race leader Ray Takada just up the road. It's going to be Texas next week. Our first 1.5 mile track of the season. Second speedway race of the year. We'll see how that one turns out. And if Engrits can keep the championship lead through there as well. McLennan down the inside on Vitabassa for 12th place. Side by side, up through the S's for the 87. It looks like they've turned the setup around on that car, and he's climbing up the order. And up into 12th goes the 87 of Jeff McLennan. Kyle Bisceglia for 20th on Shrimp Engrits there. Engrits has got, both of them have damage from that incident, but not enough damage to hamper their cars. Bobby Frazier wounded right in front of race leader Ray Takada. The gap 3.3 seconds. Stuck behind both Daniel Voiles. Makes it work on Frazier, though. Does not get held up by the 96 at least, but is going to have to be stuck behind the 13 all the way up through the S's. With just 10 laps to go now. Crucially, this is a crucial moment for her entire race. This is going to be the moment where she makes or break her climb up through the lap traffic here. Clear the 13 here, and you've got no other extremely slow traffic to catch for the rest of the race. But the 13's got fresher tires and has the right to fight to stay on the lead lap, because he is still fighting for position with cars out here. And Voiles hangs on for now, but that straight line speed disadvantage he's got from that damage is going to come back to haunt him right here. Takada back down the inside. Unable to clear the 13. It's likely that she's going to have to wait till the back straightaway again this time. Big battle going on back here. Alex Constantine, Shrimp Engrits, Ryan Bolden, Kyle Bisceglia, Giroux, Carter, Mark, and Roush all right behind as well. It's a huge cluster of cars. The leader, Takada, is not going to have to catch this battle, though. Figueroa will clear Bobby Frazier before the braking zone into turn 1. There's Alex Bignacco getting cleared by Logan Hill and Sean Angel. This might be Angel's chance to go down the inside of Hill into 1. Sticks his nose in there, forces Hill to overshoot the corner.
Doesn't have the straight line speed, though.
Did not have the acceleration off. Still right there, though. But that 11 looks strong, looks slippery in a straight line, just like we saw in qualifying. Yeah, wow, Angel unable to even force a charge down the back straight. Bisceglia versus Bolden for 20th. Bisceglia clears. Bolden cuts back underneath into 1. Crazy battle going on here. Takada clears Voiles, but the gap has been diminished from 3.4 seconds down to 1.4 with 8 laps to go. And if Figueroa can find a quick way around the 13 of Daniel Voiles, she'll be within drafting distance of the 50 car. The traffic has not played nice with race leader Ray Takada, but that's normally how it goes in these race series that don't have blue flags. The drivers that are going a lap down for the first time really fight to stay on the lead lap. Try to keep their position on the track, but and then the second place car comes through and they can't give them as hard of a time because they've already gone a lap down. We'll see if Figueroa can make it down the inside here, the 13 down into the second to last corner. She's going to try. Going to give her a shot here into the braking zone. If she can clear this time around through the final corner, she'll have a chance of having a shot at Rei Takeda. Gets the run off the corner, has the straightaway speed advantage, and crucially, evens the lap time. She ran an even lap time with Takeda while clearing Daniel Voiles. Is the 50 car falling off a bit, or was it a mistake? We won't know until we see both of these drivers have the next lap with clean air. It's gonna be 6 laps to go this next time by here at Watkins Glen, and this race is still undecided for the race lead. Takeda chasing a 4th career victory in the WTSS, a first in almost 2 seasons. Or Alison Figueroa, the rookie, trying to get Reed Family Racing their first win in quite some time.
Become the third different driver to win their first race this season.
Yes, and the 3rd different driver to win a race for that team. Ryan Reed previously, and then Jake Stavanaugh. It looked promising that lap from Figueroa. Yes, 3/10. 3/10 gained. Takeda is struggling. Figueroa's found the speed and is putting the pressure on the 50 with 6 laps to go. And Sean Angel, using the lapper of Bobby Frazier, I would have to imagine, just found a way through on Logan Hill for 3rd place onto the podium for the 58. Jake Stevens clearing 2 lappers there. Alex Bignacco and Cale Tescar Jr. He'll have to settle for 6th. The top 5 is no longer on the cards with that strategy from Ryan Reed's crew. This cluster of lappers is just going to be out of reach from the leaders. They're not going to have to encounter it, very crucially. That is going to be a relief for Rei Takeda. And she can use that number 1 car of Elijah Innes as a bit of a drafting, like a drafting tool to get straightaway speed without getting any dirty air from the one. She's not close enough to him to really be effective through the corners. And it looks like a better response lap from Takeda here. No, maybe not. The gap stays the same. She minimizes the damage that lap. 5 laps to go at Watkins Glen. It's down to just 2 of them. So we see DJ Curtis using Alex Bignacco as a pick to get past Arnie Nugroho, and Nugroho has nowhere to go and has to settle to losing out to Chris Louviere under braking, and forces the 29 3 wide on the exit of the corner. Almost contact, squeezing between the 29 and the 08. Keeps the position lost down to a minimum of just 1. And everybody gets past the 29 of Bignacco there. Maybe some of these lappers are a bit more wounded than I thought they were. William Duncan in the 66. Patrick Smith in the 77. Both of whom are running way off the pace. The leaders are going to catch these guys. So not only is Figueroa closing in on Takeda enough to catch her before the end of this race, but they're going to have to deal with lap traffic one last time in this event. Half a second gained for Alison Figueroa. The rookie is charging hard to the back of Rei Takeda, and the gap is down to almost half a second with 4 laps to go. How much do you want it? There's Patrick Smith, wounded race car, involved in that accident through the S's. Oh no, Takeda's not going to catch him in time before the bus stop. Just at the last second, can't get down the inside. That's going to be incredibly difficult for her to get past. The exit of the corner is the worst spot to have to deal with one of these cars. Looks to the right to try and find a way through. Looks to the left, peeks out just in time before Figueroa can do anything. Side by side through the last couple corners. She clears before the corner exit and puts a breathing gap between herself and Figueroa, who immediately fires it down the inside to get past as well. Less than half a second between them with 3 laps to go. It's going to be an all-time classic here at Watkins Glen.
She's already back up to her rear.
They adjusted the 50 car to be better on launch off. They felt it was a shorter run from the pit cycle to the end of the race than it was from the start to the pit cycle. But it appears like they over-adjusted it a bit. The 98 is flying towards the back of the 50. They catch William Duncan coming down to the bus stop chicane, and there's nothing Takeda can do. Has to just find a way past on the exit. Figueroa looks to the outside. It's now going to be which lane does the 66 end up holding up? I think Figueroa knows better and is backing out of it, or is she? Down to the end of the straightaway, who do you follow? Which lane ends up being right? Duncan in the 66 holding up Takeda. Side by side on the exit of the final corner, Allison Figueroa leads with 2 laps to go at Watkins Glen, and Ray Takeda ruining that move to pick the right-hand side of the racetrack. But Figueroa misses the corner, overshoots while following behind the one of Elijah Innes. It's not over here at Watkins Glen. Up through the S's for the second to last time.
Figueroa's gonna want to get around Innes as quickly as she
needs
can.
to now. Needs to do it now and needs to clear. Cannot lollygag around the 1 car. You have to clear now. Through the S's, through the bus stop chicane for the second to last time, clearing Elijah Innes. That may have settled it. There's going to be no more traffic for the next lap and a quarter. And the driver who won last week at Watkins Glen is going to be the one who possibly is the deciding factor who wins at Watkins Glen. Figueroa picked her line correctly, took the riskier outlook of the entire stretch through the carousel, ended up being on the correct line, takes the lead coming to 2 to go, and now leads the field comfortably at the white flag. The rookie leads us into turn 1 as they're 3 wide ahead, exiting turn number 1 ahead. Almost contact between Mitchell Carter and Shrimp Engrits. Keep an eye out.
There definitely was.
Make sure that you don't have to avoid a crash on your last lap while in the race lead. Absolute chaos up ahead of the leaders. Trying to keep an eye on to make sure that they don't crash right in front of the leaders. Oh, contact between Bolden and Carter. Nearly hooked him on the exit of the bus stop. But you can't dwell on it now. You made your decisions. One was right, one was wrong. And the correct decision went to the rookie who was going to have a chance at it regardless of the traffic. Allison Figueroa drove brilliantly. She came back from 5 seconds behind at the pit cycle and now comes through the final corner. Reed Family Racing can celebrate. They've picked a good one. Allison Figueroa, in her 8th career start, comes to start-finish line and wins at Watkins Glen for her first career victory. Ray Takeda comes home in 2nd place, and she's got to be absolutely kicking herself.
Our first career victory of the season already, and we're only 8 races in.
What a rookie class here in WTSS. A lot of talent. We see more rookies up at the front of the field, with Jake Stevens finishing up in 6th place, Nugroho and Wongswat in 9th and 10th. What a performance. Ray Takeda had this race under control until she didn't. And it really looked like we were going to have a crazy duel to the finish. But that was decided for us when we had lap traffic in the closing stages. And it was a coin flip. You had to pick a side. Takeda picked the less risky route in that option. But Figueroa managed to find a way through by sticking with her gut, swinging around the outside of the carousel, and committing to that line the whole way through. And it won her the race. The rest of the top 10 is Sean Angel, Logan Hill, Ryan Reed, Jake Stevens, DJ Curtis, Chris Louviere, Arnie Nugroho, and Chanarong Wongsawat. Then it's Tamura, McLennan, Vita Basa, Ji Yon, and Roberto Crown Jr. squeezing into a top 15 right at the end. The rest of the running order is as follows. The drivers who did not finish this race involved in that massive accident up in the S's, up the hill we went, were Jake Stavinoff, Sebastian Van Daalen, Tristan Wilhoit, Jeffrey Finguy, Mark Nutt, Brandon Krasta, and the driver who was battling for the lead at one point, had a fuel leak and never came back out of the pits, Eugene DeMax, finishing dead last from pole position. But in a race where double points could have taken advantage of the championship position, Sebastian Van Daalen was taken out of said position to take the point lead, and Shrimp Engrits is going to leave Watkins Glen barely still with the point lead as we head to Texas. But that's all done now. 51 laps of action have been completed here at Watkins Glen, and congratulations to Allison Figueroa, your winner at Watkins Glen. We'll see you at Texas next week with WTSS Season 7.